financial trouble. So they knew that he was
Okay, so hey guys, welcome to the Daily Word Bible Study, a plain and simple, book by book, chapter by chapter, and verse by verse study through the entire Bible. We are going to embark on a study through Zephaniah, and which is different than Zechariah. Um, now, we're going to do two more books before we get back to Jeremiah, and the way that we're kind of going through the section of the Old Testament called the writings of the prophets, the writing of the prophets. And let me do this. Well, I can't. Well, so the, we're gonna go. I'm gonna share my screen in a moment, but if you look at your, let me go on and share my screen. Okay, so if you look at um, how the Bible is arranged, okay, how the Bible is arranged. So this is the most common way it is arranged. Now, I think there is a Bible translation, which is a chronological order. Now, I've never seen that Bible. I've heard people talk about it. I haven't seen it. So the reason I say that is because I'm not copying or following that pattern. What I am following as we get to the writings of the prophets. So as you can see, from Genesis down to Esther, it's more the historical part, as it is given from a historical standpoint, the historical narrative. And then this section of the Bible, from Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and Songs of Solomon, are called the books of wisdom and or literature. And then when we come to Isaiah, this is the last section of the Old Testament. This is what's called the writings of the prophets. Now, within the writings of the prophets, they are broken down into the major prophets and the minor prophets. Um, Probably because one of the length of the Bible of these books, probably more important of the importance of the prophecies. In other words, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, and certainly Daniel are esteemed as great prophets. Okay, so in that respect, you can say it's a deserved title. And then you come to what's called the minor prophets. So Hosea all the way to Malachi. Okay. I did a different approach. Now, by the way, each section of the Bible, as they are arranged, is pretty much or believed to be the order or dating, okay, of the books. Okay. So when we get to, again, Job, which is actually the oldest writings in the Bible. So, because remember, when you go back to Genesis, the first five books of Genesis, I mean, the first five books of the Bible are written by Moses. But Job is actually dated much earlier, probably around the time of Abraham. So the same thing when we come to Isaiah, since when you look at the dating or the arrangement of the major prophets, then you would have Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentations, Ezekiel, and then Daniel in terms of the age or the dating. So then you start back when you get to the prophets, Hosea, then you get to the dating. Now, even with this kind of dating right here, some of this is suspect, and I'm going to tell you why, especially with the two books that we are going to study. What I did was I said, well, let's do the writings of the prophets in a chronological order. So we started again instead of with um, Isaiah, we started with Hosea. Now, let me bring up my Bible timeline to show why. Um, so if we go back to Joel, right? Um, I think Joel was our first book that we studied in chronological order or by date. And I like this chart here because it kind of gives us an ideal. And then you're going to understand too the arrangement of how we are studying the writings of the prophet. So Joel, which is dated around 835 BC. Now, if you want to get in more detail with that, um, if you have a good Bible, um, study Bible, or you can even just simple Google, right, and then go into different Bible apps, and so that then you kind of get more of an in-depth study of the why they date this. Now, some of it is internal, in other words, that you're reading. For example, um, um, which book was it that we read? Um, that the last book, Nahum, right? That was written around the time of the king of Hezekiah. So that dates it. That gives us an idea of the dating. Okay. So now when we look at this, okay, we see Joel, and again, so in terms of the arrangements now of the Bible, right? In terms of the arrangements, these were done by scholars. This is not inspired here in terms of the arrangement. So the copy of the Bible that you have in and of itself, excuse me, excuse me, is not in a sense biblical or inspired. It just okay. This is the work of scholars. Now some of this again is suspect. Now especially when we think about this when we get to Obadiah. Okay, when we get to Obadiah. Now I'm going to study that uh, later, and I can tell you why. Because Obadiah actually, depending on the dating, is according to this chart goes all the way back to here you go 853. Now I didn't study Obadiah at that time, and maybe I should have too, but I'm going to study it in the much later dating of it by scholars. Okay, which probably would be after these two here. But when we come to Joel, so 835 BC, and then we come down to Amos, which is 766 BC, Jonah, around 760 BC, Hosea, 753 BC, and then we got into Isaiah. Now, with the exception of Jonah, the reason why I studied it this way because I wanted to get the feel of the prophecy, the timing of the prophecy. Okay, so I didn't see the sense of studying Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Daniel, and then come back to Hosea, and then you say, well, what's up with that? Because it's a whole different, so there's no flow. Actually, it would be out of time. So when we look at these prophecies here from these prophets, this is God's prophetic warning to them to repent. In other words, God is warning them, judgment is coming. Judgment is coming. Now, we study Isaiah. Again, judgment is coming, but more in-depth prophecy on the second coming of Jesus, the birth of Jesus, the crucifixion of Jesus, the creation of the new heavens and the new earth, the coming of Jesus in terms of John the Baptist. All of these, again, this was also, excuse me, as you can see, about 120 years before the actual fall of Jerusalem. So after that, then we went after Isaiah. Where are you at? We studied Nahum, okay, see, which is around 697 BC. This is what I said before. You kind of see right before Manasseh, um, wicked reign, and then around Hezekiah. So this is why you can kind of get an idea of the dating. And then we studied, where's Micah at? Where you at, Micah? Um, where is Micah? Anyway, we studied Micah. Where is Micah? Okay, but we studied Micah. Hmm, it should be right around here. So that's I always do this, probably reading right over it. Nahum. All right. Well, we're going to study Habakkuk, as you can see here, and then we're going to study um, uh, Nahum. No, Nahum. No. I'm getting kind of where you at here. I'm looking for Micah, but to show you the kind of dating of Micah, where it's at here. But we're going to study Habakkuk, which is around 625 BC. And then the first one would be Zephaniah, which is around 638 BC. Now, sometimes the dating is important here. The dating is important. And the reason why, because Zephaniah, as we get ready to study, is going to have a lot more end times prophecy. And then when we come out of the, let's say Jeremiah, and we get into the last three minor prophets, they get more into Haggai, and then actually, where are you at? I'm gonna slide down here. So all of this is in terms of the timeline, how we're going to study it, and then you get to Ezra. This is the timeline. We've already studied Ezra, by the way, with the historic, but Haggai, Zechariah, these are all around the same time, post-exile. Okay, I know this might be a little tedious, and then we get to Malachi. Okay, 430 BC. This is post what you call post exile. Okay. Um, so let's get into Zephaniah. I lost my place with um, trying to find Micah. It's there. I just probably did not um, see it. But Zephaniah, his time. Now look here. It says the word of the Lord that came to Zephaniah, son of Cushi, son of Gilead, son of Amariah, son of Hezekiah. Okay, so in the days of Joash, son of Amon, king of Judah. So then again, so we're really streaming or steaming close to the exile. In other words, Israel is getting worse in terms of their um, sins. All right, so but this gives us the date in terms of why we are studying this the way we are studying it. Okay. So that's why we are studying it. I think I love this chart, by the way. So this is why we're going to study. And then look at again Habakkuk. We'll study that next, and that will be kind of the last um, minor prophet in terms of before the exile of Jerusalem. And then there are three minor prophet writings after the exile. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's get to it. So, Zephaniah, and it says here, Verse 2, I will completely sweep away everything from the face of the earth. This is the Lord's declaration. I will sweep away man and animal. I will sweep away the birds of the sky, the fish of the sea, and the ruined along with the wicked. I will cut off mankind from the face of the earth. This is the declaration. This is the Lord's declaration. Now, this prophecy here is not and cannot ever refer to the great flood or another great flood, because God promised, this is why you see the rainbow, that he would never again plague man or destroy the earth by flood. However, he didn't say he would never destroy earth again, because he is going to destroy it, but this time it would be by fire. Okay. Verse 4, he says, I will stretch out my hand against Judah and against all the residents of Jerusalem. Now, at this time, as he makes this, remember the northern kingdoms of Israel have already been swept away. The Assyrians have conquered them. This land has been, the northern territory or territory of Israel has been laid waste. And actually, the Assyrians started planting other people in there, which later would be the Israel, when they come back, they would mix with some of them and produce, which we will know in Jesus' time, excuse me, the Samaritans, okay? But that's why you see him only really mentioning the southern kingdoms of Judah and then Jerusalem, which now they are just as wicked, just as bad. Um, so he says, I will stretch out my hand against Judah and against all the residents of Jerusalem. I will cut off every vestige of Baal from its place, the names of the pagan priests, along with the priests. Now, I want to say this because what is going on in our culture today is a exit. Now, if you wanted to call this the great apostasy, I would say that could be, okay, the great apostasy, and but or falling away, okay. But keep this in mind. That is the world going to where it has always been streaming to, because remember, the world is cursed. The world is sinful. There is a fake piety among religious people, and Christians can be included in that. So that they may say, well, oh my God, I just did a video about a guy who was just really just kind of outraged over what he's calling Pound Town. Now, I'm not going to go any further with that, because until that video, I never heard of the song Pound Town, but it's very sexually graphic. And so he was like, oh my God, parents are letting their kids listen to that. Okay, my point is, the world is wicked. The world is already wicked. So why are you, you know, in a sense, I think we're looking at things wrong. But there is this insult or insulting against Christianity. There is what's called the ex-Christian movement, deconstructing. But one of the tactics is that they would say God is unfair. God is evil because he's just picking on people, or he's destroying people, or he's killing people. And what I want you to see is that, again, what is explicitly said there always is they forget to say how wicked the people are, how evil the people are. The brutality is bad. So we'll pick this up, guys, in the next video. So don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to BP, the Bible Perspective. And as always, if you have a thought or comment, add it to the comment section below. All comments are welcome. And I'll see you in the next video.